Hi, it's Beach Baby Bob here in the kitchen with Sue. She's got the old Mixmaster out, the blonde Mixmaster. Oh, looks like she's got butter in there. Anyway, what is she making? A chocolate pie? No. This is Beach Baby Bob, and we're making ice cream pie. It's like to die for. And we're making it because my son just had a birthday, and that's what he would rather have. An ice cream pie. Not a cake, but ice cream pie. So anyway, we took a box of Mr. Christie's chocolate wafer cookies. And we put them in our blender over here. We've got this blender that grinds up dry ingredients. And we threw them in there and we ground them up so that they were into some kind of a cookie crumb powder. And I've made it without the blender before. I've taken the cookies and I've put them in a couple plastic bags and I pounded them with a mallet and I made them into crumbs that way. But the blender's easier. So anyway, then we took the crumbs and we mixed in a little tiny bit of butter, maybe a quarter of a cup, and the butter was melted, and a little bit of vanilla, just for flavoring, not much, and a little tiny bit of sugar, like maybe a tablespoon of sugar, and we mixed it all together and we pushed it down into our pie plate here. Now I used a little bit of butter in the pie plate so that it'll come out easy, but that's what we did. That's that. And then I shoved it in the oven for 10 minutes on 350 and took it out. You gotta make sure you don't overcook that. Some people don't even, when they make this chocolate wafer crust, they don't even put it in the oven. In the meantime, I took 2 eggs. You can use 2 eggs or 3 eggs. I took them out of the fridge so they can be at room temperature. And they whip up better that way. And my wife took some chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, and she took 5 squares, right, sir? 4 squares of unsweetened chocolate, semi-sweetened chocolate, and she put them in this bowl and stuck them in the microwave and very carefully melted them, the chocolate. Maybe, 30 seconds, take it out, stir it up, and then 30 seconds and do that until it's melted. So this is the consistency of the chocolate. Unsweetened chocolate cubes. Right, and then she took some butter, that's room temperature butter, and you can use unsalted butter or you can use salted butter. So it's got to be at room temperature, and she took about 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter and threw it in this Mixmaster bowl. And she's adding 3/4 of a cup of granulated white sugar, and she's trying to mix the white sugar with the butter. That's pretty easy, right? And you really need some kind of a Mixmaster to do this. If you try to do it by hand, it won't work. So she's whipping that together. She knows when all the sugar's in with the butter, and it's nice and creamy and fluffy, that's enough. And then when the chocolate is at room temperature, you can't be warm. This is the secret. If you try to add that warm chocolate to that buttered sugar over there, the pie is over. You might as well throw it out. So the chocolate has to be room temperature. You gotta stick your finger in. It's gotta be pretty much room temperature. Then you're going to mix the chocolate with that butter mixture and whip it up. And then you're going to buy yourself some of your favorite vanilla ice cream. It can be French vanilla ice cream, or it can be, like I bought, some Irresistible vanilla ice cream. There it is. And I'm going to take it out and I'm going to make sure that it's pretty soft. We want it to be soft. Not runny, but soft. And then we're going to line, when this is cold here, we're going to put the ice cream in there, make a little well in the middle, like a volcano or a crater, We're going to take that chocolate mixture with the butter and the sugar, all that whipped goodness, and we're going to dump that in and into the ice cream, and then we're going to take the leftover crumbs here that we didn't use, sprinkle it on top, and shove it in the freezer. It's an ice cream frozen pie. We'll leave it in the freezer for a day, and then the people will smell it in your community, and they'll come from far and wide, and they'll want a big honking chunk of it. And it is so delicious, and I gave you the recipe that we've made for the last 50 years, and it's just a hit every time. Now, if you go on the internet and you look up ice cream pie, they'll give you a recipe there too, and they might use similar ingredients, but they might also use whipped cream, and that might even make it a little bit different. I stuck my finger in the chocolate and I tasted it. It's delicious. Remember, it's unsweetened chocolate.
It's semi-sweet.
Sorry, semi-sweetened chocolate. What's the brand name, Sue?
Oh, it can be any brand.
Doesn't matter. Just as long as it's semi-sweetened chocolate. And we used how many squares?
4.
4 squares. And remember, we microwaved it 30 seconds at a time, took it out, poked it a little bit, stirred it a little bit, until finally it was all melted, and then we let it sit on the counter until it was room temperature. And that's what it looks like. I've got most of it in with the butter and the sugar, and I'm beating it up. Okay. So it's not runny, it's pretty creamy. We're not quite done. So in goes a little bit of vanilla. Right. Just a little, maybe a teaspoon or tablespoon, well, a teaspoon of vanilla. And now I'm going to put the eggs in.
As long as they're room temperature.
We've got our semi-sweetened chocolate mixed with the butter, salted or unsalted, mixed with the sugar and the vanilla in here, fluffed up. And we're waiting for the eggs to be at room temperature, so you just sort of hold them in your hand and they feel like they are to me. That one's a little cooler. You don't want to start whipping eggs when they're not room temperature because they won't whip, and then your whole pie's messed up. And in the meantime, we took some vanilla ice cream and we put it in the pie plate on top of the cookie crumbs and left a little crater in the middle for the chocolate. So it's sitting in the freezer. The eggs have gone in. 1 egg went in there and we whipped it for 2 minutes, and then we've just put in the second egg. There it is. And we're going to whip that for 2 minutes, and then we will have them all in there and all whipped and ready to put into the pot. So here goes Sue whipping away here. 2 minutes worth of whipping per egg on a high speed. Room temperature egg.
Along with the room temperature chocolate.
So believe it or not, you'll be eating an ice cream pie with raw eggs.
We've been doing it for 20 years.
50 years. Where did you get this recipe from? Keep watching what you're doing. What are they doing?
Got it out of a magazine. Had the recipe. woman wanted to work for them.
As I know, my whole family loves it. They would rather have this for their birthday than a birthday cake.
Yeah.
If you make it, make sure you leave me a message and let me know how it went.
What's the time?
A few more seconds. We took out the cookie pie crust vanilla ice cream crater in the middle pie plate from the freezer, and now we're going to add the chocolate, sugar, butter, egg mixture, fluffy stuff, and it's going to go in that hole. Now, this is kind of what the Ngorongoro crater in Tanzania, East Africa looked like. You're standing on the rim here, and she's plopping. You could do it a little bit more gently, Sue. You're going to have it all over
No,
everywhere.
I'm not. My aim is sure.
Remember, this is going in the freezer and sit in there overnight, and then it'll be ready. You could take it out of the freezer when you're ready to eat it and place it in a pan of warm water. Don't get the warm water on the ice cream pie though. Just set the pie plate in a pan of warm water, you know, maybe an inch deep, and it'll just sort of loosen the crust away from the pie plate, and then when you cut it, it'll be easier to get out. She's got it in there. Now, what are we almost done? Oh, what about these crumbs here, Sue?
Oh yeah, we gotta have
Get the crumbs. No licking your fingers.
Okay,
Just get the crumbs.
okay.
Hurry up, our son's about to come in and we don't want him to see this. We want it to be a surprise. He specifically wanted us to make it, but it took us about a week to get around to this. One of the best desserts ever. You'll never find this in a restaurant.
I think you left too many crumbs.
Just don't use them
Cover it.
all.
Oh no, if you don't use them all, they'll just go stale.
Well, then use them all.
I will. Way too many.
And I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to take it down to my large freezer that I have where there's an empty shelf and just set it in there. Wait 24 hours, and then tomorrow, yum-a-ramas. It's the next day. It's been about 24 hours since we made the ice cream pie, and it's been in the freezer. No one's touched it. So I took it out about 20 minutes ago, and I put about an inch of hot water in the sink, and I set it in the hot water so the hot water would be just an inch up from the bottom of the plate. And it's supposed to be melting the crust a little bit so we can cut it and get it out onto a plate. So we'll see. It might be still as hard as nails because this pie tends to be very hard, but you never know. Sometimes it comes out easier. We don't want it to be one big mess. We want it to have a little bit of class when it sits on the plate. So I got this big, huge cleaver here, nice and wide and deep. And I'm going to try to get it out. Onto a plate here. The crust and the pie. That's pretty good. The first one's always the hardest one. So that came out pretty good, see? That means I cooked the crust long enough in the oven. It's only supposed to be in there for 10 minutes, and I think I cooked it about that. So I'll let this be tested by Dave since it's his birthday, and he can tell us what he thinks. So switching the camera around here to someone actually eating.
Let's see if I can get all three components. The fudge, the ice cream, and the whatever this is.
He gives it a thumbs up. Just give us a little description of what it tastes like.
Well, you always kind of aim for the same taste, right? Like every year it kind of like has the same, like it hasn't changed much over the years, right? It's been the same recipe every time.
Yeah, but I think the ice cream could be different.
Yeah.
So if this was a Chapman's, just a vanilla ice cream, I wouldn't use any other flavor of ice cream though. I might use a different company, but I don't think I would use another flavor. Like I wouldn't use cherry ice cream or chocolate ice cream. Anyway, so that's it. Try making it, and if you do, let me know what happens. Comment, like or dislike, and subscribe to my